From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Ry, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we all?
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you choking on Weetabix, Ry?
I am. Yep.
I'm
all good.
What's that taught you? What have we learned?
Not to eat anywhere near the show. My apologies.
No, and yet here we are having that same conversation again.
Every day of the week. Super professional.
I know. Oh, absolutely, to the bitter end. Speaking of bitter end, yeah.
Oh.
It's we're into the final furlong. We're in our last week before the school holidays, lads. Yeah, absolutely. We've got all sorts planned for this week. The last show of this week is not one to be missed, but we've got plenty to go before then as well. Oh, yeah. I suppose it's the beginning of the end for a lot of things. Marco Royce, we're going to talk a little bit about him. What a way to sign out. He bought all 81,000 fans beers at the Borussia Dortmund game. I think that's an expensive round. That
it's not
absolutely
bad though, is it?
It's pretty decent. That's a way to sign off. I mean, that's definitely going to curry favour with a lot of them, or curryverse favour anyway. Premier League roundup, we're going to talk about that. Obviously, that Newcastle game yesterday. The Arsenal fans getting trolled by Everton fans, which I just thought was deliciously brilliant, and probably wouldn't get that in any other league in the world, or just for the fact that Everton fans were horrible and said that the score was 2-2 elsewhere with Man City. I thought that was genius.
Saw that, yeah.
That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Phil Foden, just absolutely underlining why he's been voted the player of the season for the Premier League. I mean, insane finishes from him, brilliant. We're going to have a what the fact, because I haven't done one of them for ages. Excellent. Absolutely ages. Yes, we've got one of them. We're going to talk VAR because we have to. We might talk about Jurgen Klopp, because I don't know whether you've heard, but he's gone. There's nothing as delicious as Liverpool fans' tears, is there? But there you go. And we are also going to talk. We're going to talk Borough. We're going to talk Sunderland as well. Steve will obviously get this opportunity to talk about the game yesterday. A really, really emphatic win, I thought. As much as Brentford sort of rallied in the second half. Entertaining game of football, I thought, actually. It was one of the 3 screens I was trying to keep an eye on in the pub yesterday. But yeah, very good game. But we start, as always, with a little roundup around the grounds. Who's going to go first, Daz?
Mackems and Proud. Black Cats News.
Good morning, Sunderland fans. Sunderland winger Jewison Bennett has admitted he made a bad decision in heading to Greece on loan. Bennett joined Greek side Aris on loan in January as he looked for first team minutes, but the spell was a nightmare for the winger as he only featured in the first 2 games he was available for. Bennett is currently in Costa Rica training with his former side Herediano as he looks to keep fit ahead of a potential national team call-up. Bo Svensson is one of the number of names linked with the vacant Sunderland head coach role, but if he is to head away side, Christian Speakman will have to fend off interest from Germany. According to German magazine Kicker, Svensson is said to be of interest to Union Berlin, and the discussions have now taken place between Union and Svensson. And finally, former Sunderland striker Kevin Phillips believes Liam Rosenior would be a good fit for the Black Cats as they search for a new head coach. Rosenior was surprisingly sacked by Hull earlier this month after guiding the Tigers to 7th place finish in the Championship. The 39-year-old previously had an interim spell in charge of Derby, where he worked as a coach alongside Wayne Rooney at Pride Park. But we won't hold that against him. That's your Sunderland update.
Smoggies and Proud. Borough News.
Good morning, my off-season Borough fans. How are we? How's your holidays? How's another weekend without Carrick Ball? You sad? I'm sad. Headlines, right? Stuff happening in Middlesbrough's world? Not much. Latte Lath was by a pool. Looked like he had rock melon. He's in fit shape as well, working out. Riley McGree did some boxing as well. It was interesting. He got a few jabs in, but he's just saying he's staying fit as he can. Not much transfer news because no one's at the club. It's a fantastic off season because we're going to win it next season. So just relax, enjoy your pina coladas, and sit back. Carrick Ball's coming back. Love yous.
Mags News.
Newcastle United concluded their season on Sunday by beating Brentford in West London to set 3 new goal-scoring records and secure 7th spot in the Premier League. But their European future will remain unconfirmed until this coming Saturday when Manchester City take on Manchester United in the FA Cup final. Following yesterday's Premier League season closer at Brentford, the Newcastle squad flew to Australia for 2 money-spinning kickabouts in Melbourne. The Magpies have taken a 29-man squad with them, leaving Anthony Gordon, Martin Dubravka, Sean Longstaff and Fabian Schär at home, in addition to the already known injury list. There's no place for Sandro Tonali as he's unable to play in public friendlies, while Harrison Ashby and Garan Kowal appear following the conclusion of their loans at Swansea City and Volendam respectively. There was a memorable conclusion as well to United's under-18 programme on Saturday, for Everton at least. Graham Carrick's side came into the game following successes against Leeds United and Borough, but fell behind after just 7 minutes to Joel Catesby, with the hosts already having a goal chalked off by then. Harvey Foster then doubled Everton's advantage on 37 minutes before Jacob Beaumont-Clark struck 5 minutes before the interval to make it 3-0. Things got no better after the break for the Magpies at Finch Farm. Joshua Von Schuer on target in the 50th and 66 minutes, with Catesby second of the game coming in between on 62 minutes. Then the hosts piled on the misery in the closing moments, George Finney with a 7th on 85 and Matthew Apter making it 8 3 minutes later. Newcastle United losing 8-0. Dear me, how. That's your Monday headlines.
Together across the northeast.
The Toon, the Cat and the Red.
Let's get cracking then. 0330 043 2002 if you want to take part in any of the talking points today. And of course, you will need that number 4, Daz. Are you ready with your trigger finger?
Yes, of course. Yes.
What the fact?
It's back.
Oh, he is as well. Hey,
He's
I'll
ready
tell
to go.
you
He had
what.
it ready. Well done.
He is.
Hey?
He's like a sniper, isn't he?
He's so good. He's so good.
He's stealthily creeping through the grass, just waiting for the go-ahead. I love it.
Oh,
Absolutely
just-
love it.
And the voice to go with it. And the body.
It was a bit of a heavy-handed fade-out, like, but...
Give us with one hand.
Could have been done slower. Could have been done a little bit slower. I agree.
It was a little bit of fader. Anyway,
Good morning.
good morning. Good morning.
Worst hand job of the season, Daz.
I don't know what to do with that line. I really don't.
That's what you do. You move on.
I'm kind of doffing my cap towards Steve for that one, but yes, let's not dwell on that much longer. Oh, there's far too much material there, isn't there? Anyway, right. You know how this works by now. It's what the fact. I have a wonderful footballing fact. I'm going to give you 4 clues to help you guess what the fact. We're going to crack on straight away with... Oh, this is so... How apt is this? The first clue. Really, lads? Playing with yourselves?
We don't rehearse this show, guys.
No, it feels like it, but we don't.
It all just... no. It all just comes natural.
It just fits like hand in glove, I suppose.
Oh my God.
So first clue. Really, lads, playing with yourselves.
Okay.
This could be a stain on our career, this one.
Yeah.
Right, so this is a team that's played against like their own reserves or something like that, something along those lines.
Could well be, does. Could well be.
Little Barcelona B. Little Real Madrid.
A bit closer to home than them, but
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Okay, yeah. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting so far. That's really, lads, playing with yourselves. So just keep that one in mind. Keep that one in mind. But
Okay.
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
while we got the boxing theme on, did you see the
Yeah.
game? The fight at the weekend?
The game? Oh. What?
I did.
Usyk. Oh.
Yeah. I
Wow.
was frustrated. I quite like Tyson Fury. I know I might be in the minority there, but I do like him. And I was left really frustrated because rounds 4, 5 and 6 were Fury's best rounds by far. And I felt he had the opportunity to finish him because there was a stage where Usyk was really unsteady on his feet.
Yeah.
But it was the showboating and kind of like, I don't know, he just didn't seem to go for the kill and just decided to be a bit silly and give it a bit of nonsense in the ring instead. And I just thought that was a shame, that, because he had a really good opportunity. I don't know whether he thought, well, I've got him here, I can relax, I can take my time with him. Because Usyk traditionally, and I'm sure Steve will back this up as well as a boxing fan, Usyk finishes fights really strongly, and Fury should have known that. But I think the result was right. I think it was closer than what those referee scores actually suggested. But yeah, I think ultimately, probably by the odd round in one or two, I think it was the right result. Like, did you watch it, Steve?
I had him 2 rounds up, Usyk, and I think the fight.
Yeah.
The fight was lost when that right hand went straight down Tyson's nose, Busty's nose. He had problems with his nose all the fight. If you rewatch it, he was doing this kind of weird, touching the nose all the way from the second round. So he clearly got caught early on, and it was disturbing him. It was affecting him, and he never really recovered from that. I thought the whole demeanour of Tyson before he got in the ring was weird. That's the most uncomfortable ring walk I've ever seen, where he was dancing and like his team didn't know where to put themselves. It was like it had a feeling of nervousness for me from Fury. I think he realised he was going in with somebody who really could affect his legacy. But the fight overall was a classic, and very rarely do you get a fight which is billed to be a classic becomes a classic. Credit to Usyk, deserved his win, absolutely brilliant, and what a legacy to be undefeated, and the unifying the belts of both cruiserweight and heavyweight. He joins a very small list of people who've gone on to do that. Evander Holyfield is probably the big name that he stands alongside now, but there's been there is a rematch clause. We'll wait and see what happens. I think Tyson let himself down post-match in the ring. First of all, far too many people in the ring.
What was going on there? It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. It should just be the two fighters. There should be the MC and there should be the corners. That's it. We had probably 80 to 100 people in the ring at one point, and you were struggling to see where Lennon was to make the announcement. But it became a good fight, halfway through when Usyk started giving it back, and Lennox Lewis called it. He said that was the way it was going to go, and he was right. Can Fury beat him in a rematch? I would say he can, but what he needs to do is he needs to learn from these mistakes. He needs to have one voice in the corner as well. How many times we went to Tyson's corner and heard Sugar, who's he's supposed to be giving him his input. He's got to listen to him. He's got to focus on him. John Fury, barking orders,
chirping in money.
Oh, the Cuts man was giving advice at one point. At one point there was 3 voices, and I thought, my God, that's giving me a headache. How can Tyson get any kind of clear idea as to what is going on? And at the end of the fight, he said he thought he was winning, and of course that probably comes from what John Fury was saying. So you know what, it's a wake up call for Tyson. I think we all hope that he can bounce back, but financially doesn't need to. It'll be down to ego now, and if there's a rematch clause and he wants to exercise it, I think he should exercise it, and I think he should do it straight away. The big blow, of course, is it means that fight with Anthony Joshua gets kicked further down the road, because it's pointless fighting Anthony Joshua now, and there's nothing to fight for. Both of them have got nothing nothing that either of them want. It means that Anthony Joshua won't happen till at least next year now, which is a crying shame. But overall, great fight. It lived up to its expectation, and I really enjoyed it.
Apart from the entertainment beforehand.
You hear what he said about the war and with Usyk and that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't want to go into it. I didn't want to go into it, but that's what I meant. I just thought he let himself down. But I watched the press conferences after that, and I thought, fair enough. I mean, Frank Warren wouldn't answer questions on it. He said, look, he says, in the moment, he says, in team games, people get a chance to go back to the dressing room and then come out and do an interview. He says, in boxing, cameras are straight in your face with microphones. People say things, in the heat of the moment. So, does Tyson need to come out and apologise? Not really. Listen, he said it. We knew he said it. He didn't mean it. He clearly said it in the heat of the moment after he's just done 12 rounds with a guy who's just taken his belt off him.
He also said Happy New Year as well. You could see that. It wasn't
correct.
Yeah,
he wasn't. He wasn't right. And I mean,
someone shouldn't have shoved a microphone in his face at that point.
Similar to afterwards. I mean, which person asks? We saw how emotional Usyk was about his father beforehand. He's got his dad's picture on the back of his mobile phone. His dad, and he talks about his dad coming to him. And anyone who's lost a parent will tell you how emotional that makes you feel. And ultimately, to ask him straight after the fight in the press conference about did your dad visit you before the fight? Come on, man. And the bloke was in tears, and I just thought, have a bit of
classless, isn't it?
Have a bit of decorum, have a bit of common sense. The guy's just done something. He didn't need that, but what a great night. And despite the fact that the atmosphere is as flat as a pancake, Saudi does put on a good show. My mates were there, they were ringside, they had a fantastic time.
Apart from the rapper
who was crapper. Then
I was about. Well, yeah, aye. It rhymes with rap. What I thought it was like, but it was about 15 minutes of absolute nonsense.
Well, my kids didn't even know who he was.
I've had to Google him. It's somebody called JID or JID. I don't know. Destined Choice Route is his name.
Right, okay.
It was just 15 minutes of nonsense.
He did four songs. I mean, if that's what you can call them.
I was going to say songs is a bit of a loose description, like. Plus, the way he was dressed, he looked like he'd nicked a tracksuit from Tyne by a fire brigade.
Yeah, he did.
It was just like... it did nothing for me, that. But potential rematch in October. Like, do you think it'll go ahead? Do you think Fury will actually fight again, lads? I personally think he will, right?
Finance.
He will. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he definitely will.
That's millions of pounds. You can't knock it back, and it's the legacy, isn't it? He's gonna, like I said, he's going to be driven by ego. He's going to be driven by legacy. He's going to want to do it. But how hard did Usyk hit is another thing. Do you want to go through that? Do you want to hit that? There was talk about Usyk having his jaw broken.
Some fantastic punches.
He didn't look like he had his jaw broken. Yeah, there was.
Usyk only gets the... he's only got the title for 2 weeks or something as well, isn't it? Isn't it really weird, like how it's... I was hearing afterwards that they were talking about it, that he's only going to be the undisputed champion for 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. You've got to have a rematch. If you don't have a rematch by a certain time, then you get a belt taken off you, don't you?
Oh, my God.
That's mad, that, like. Absolutely mad.
I thought it was interesting. In the ring, they were like, rematch. And again, straight after the fight. But then in the press conference, they all played it down a little bit, didn't they? And Tyson was like, well, I'm going to have some time with my family and have a think about it. I don't know what there is to think about, because he will not want to finish his career on that fight. He's not going to retire.
At the same time, if you win the belt and you become undisputed, right, the last thing you want to do is have a fight a few months later. You want to milk it a bit, don't you? You want to be able to go around the world and capitalise on personal appearances and stuff like Tyson Fury did. Go and do a 10 show tour in the UK and get 30, 40, 50 grand a show. Do you know what I mean? That's and go and milk it a little bit, because that's an opportunity for you to be the champ, and it's up to him, really. I don't care what's in a rematch clause. It's up to the fighters. They have to decide it. The paper's not worth, contracts. It's not worth the paper it's written on at times. And like I say, it'll be Usyk now holds all the cards. Tyson Fury did. Now Usyk does. And what other fights are out there for Usyk at the minute? It's a Tyson rematch, which you're going to see at some point, I think. He's not going to fight Joshua again, is he? Surely not. You know what I mean? Give Joshua an opportunity to unify the belts. So. And who else is coming up? There's one or two potential fighters coming up, but there's nobody out there at the moment. But we'll just have to wait and see. The good thing is, all the promoters are getting on. They're all sitting in Saudi. They're all taking the Saudi money at the minute. Warren's out there with Eddie Hearn. Never thought I'd see the day when all of these people were sitting at ringside together as friends. But they're all in the same trough now, and that can only be good news for boxing and make fights a bit easier. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was a very entertaining. I thought the undercard was good as well, to be honest. The fight right before that with the Aussie lad. It was just a tremendous undercard, really. The fights were really, as you'd expect for something like an occasion like that, you'd expect some decent bouts. But yeah, I was really impressed with the standard. Like you say, a little bit of a flat atmosphere. It was all a bit posy, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing like a Wembley Stadium or anything like that. But yeah, really good show aside from the that horrendous rapper that you couldn't even call talent. But there you go. Coming up after this, we're gonna talk Newcastle. We're going to give Stevie his opportunity to chat about that Brentford game and talk about the end of the Premier League as well, and quite a few endings as well. But that's coming up right after this.
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Ry, the North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the Northeast, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Our friend Alt has been in touch this morning. You can do the same on the WhatsApp.
Morning, Alt.
0330 or 43 2002. He mentions the fight, a very flat atmosphere. Should have been Wembley. For that, yeah. And Usyk, more honourable champion, is also Alt's thoughts this morning about the fight. So there you go. You can do the same. Get in touch at any time. 0330 or 43 2002.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. So yes, Premier League, an interesting last day. The top two both won. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, Arsenal fans were getting trolled by Everton. Somebody among the Everton fans told the Arsenal fans that it was 2-2 between Man City and West Ham, which led to scenes of celebration at the Emirates, which I just thought was cruel but brilliant at the same time. That's just evil, man. I mean,
Well
that's
played.
sick.
Well played.
It really, really is sick. But there you go. Yeah, a fantastic end of the season. Man City, I watched the majority of their game. Foden was absolutely unplayable. They just looked so comfortable. Even when West Ham clawed one back, with a great overhead kick as well, by the way.
Great
but
goal.
they never looked like they were... Yeah, it was fantastic. Man City never looked like they weren't in control of that game. Arsenal, very commendable season for them. Liverpool obviously finished third with Klopp's exit as well. We'll talk a bit about that coming up. Villa got absolutely humped 5-0 off Crystal Palace. I couldn't believe that. Villa obviously finishing in fourth, but like Steve said, just when we're off air there, flip-flops on for definite at Villa Park. I think there's no question about that. Tottenham finishing fifth, Chelsea in sixth, Newcastle in seventh, and obviously we're going to wait and see what happens with them. We've got the FA Cup to decide who's going to be finishing in Europe there. So, correct us if I'm wrong, Steve. So, Man United win the Cup, then Newcastle don't qualify for Europe. So, everyone's singing Blue Moon on Tyneside basically next weekend.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's one of those cruel situations. I guess you've got Europe this weekend, but next weekend it could be taken away from you. I was speaking to Melly Barnes yesterday about it. He says, do we really want Europa Conference? He was saying that he's not bothered about Europe next season because he'd rather have a chance to rebuild. It was interesting to hear him talk about Ten Hag and say that he would like Ten Hag to stay to see him oversee the next season, get rid of some of the rubbish, and then then get rid of him and bring in somebody new. So you wonder whether there's a scope in that for that to happen. But yeah, listen, Newcastle deserved to finish seventh. It's been a wonderful end to the season, and for me, I saw people celebrating yesterday about finishing above Man U. Yeah, listen, we finished above Manchester United for the first time in the Premier League. The Premier League, not football in all time. We finished above Man United plenty times before, but in the Premier League, yeah, that's the first time we've done it. But that's not what we set out to achieve this season. We set out to win the league. We set out to win a trophy. We set out to get European football. We managed to achieve, hopefully, some sort of European football if Man City win the cup final next season. But other than that, it's been a good season when you look at the injuries. I've spent 9 months on this show talking about Newcastle's bad luck with Tonali getting suspended, and then subsequently all the injuries that we've had. So seventh's where we deserve to finish, and I'm delighted that we finished there. It was a record breaking end of the season as far as goals were concerned. I mean, last season we based our our season on stability at the back, and broke records, club records with regards to conceding goals. We had such a tight back four. The 4 goals yesterday meant that we finished the season having scored the most goals, 36 goals away from home in the Premier League, the highest amount of Premier League goals, 85 in a season, and the most goals in all competitions, 102 during the Premier League era. So that tells you that Eddie Howe's management skills know no limits, and hopefully next season he can tighten it up at the back and keep those goal scoring records, and who knows, we could be there again amongst the runners and riders. People say to me, what is the Europa Conference? Well, we've won it before. It was the Intertoto Cup. That's what the Europa Conference was.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So now it's a cup. Now they've given it more meaning, and now it's a competition. And a lot of other people yesterday were saying, well, who could we get? Well, potentially, we could be on the way to clubs such as Istanbul. We could be on the way to Molde. We could be on the way to Freiburg, Malmo. Slovan Bratislava is another potential opponent for us. But
I had that for my tea last night, I think.
Hey, there's some big clubs already qualified. I mean, Napoli's in there. They're probably one of the biggest. FC Copenhagen, we've played them in European football before. Ghent.
There's some Cypriot teams in there, Steve, as well, actually.
Yeah, there is, which could lead to an interesting meeting in Cyprus for you and I. Ferencvaros.
I'll tell you what, absolutely, yeah.
Real Betis have qualified as well. Lens are in there. Utrecht. AEK Athens are in. Shamrock Rovers always seem to qualify, never seem to get very far. So yeah, look, there's and there is a Scottish representative in there as well. Hearts will take place in the Europa Conference next season. So the potential is there for some wonderful trips away for Newcastle fans. And listen, that's what it's all about, having something else to play for. And Newcastle could go far in that competition, and winning breeds success, and that's what you want, and hopefully we have a bigger squad next season. Hopefully we have more players available, and not this injury crisis that we had last year. But yeah, it's listen, I'm happy with the end of the season, and I just want to, you mentioned Man City before. I just want to pay tribute to Phil Foden. 23 years of age, lads, 6 Premier League titles, 4 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 Community Shields, 1 Champions League, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 FIFA Club World Cup medal. Wow. Unbelievable, lad. Unbelievable.
Sounds like Michael Carrick.
And he's getting better.
Yeah.
He's actually getting better as a footballer. That's the thing. It's scary.
Yeah.
I still think he's about 5 years from hitting peak.
Just having a look at some of the back pages, the sports pages today. Formidable in the Times, the Telegraph. Pep, we are the greatest, and that's a couple of times that's covered. Is also in the Daily Mail Sport. The greatest, Pep 4 in a row, proves that they're the finest English club of all time, says Pep. Pep's mad for it. Crown and out. And euphoria with a
could
4
be off,
in the
couldn't
middle.
he? Did you watch his press conference?
Yeah.
It'd be a strange
weird,
one, that, because I mean,
he's got another year.
I can understand it. Yeah, he's saying that they're going to talk again once everything's calmed down. But I know Micah Richards was saying like sort of 5 more years. I kind of see him doing another 5. I think now that with Klopp going, I think it might have just sort of sown the seed that. What more is that he can do at Man City?
There could be in a conference after this, after all of the charges being looked at.
Well, this is true. Like,
he wants another challenge. It's a hell of a challenge.
It's like starting again on Football Manager, isn't it?
Carrying the water bottle to the porter cabin.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think he'd fancy that. Checking the map to see where Fleetwood is and things like that. I don't think I can see Pep doing it. But
having a stay for the
when you relegate a team. Yeah, where you relegate a team in FIFA, but then you give them like the unlimited funds. Do you know what I mean? So you got like Messi playing in League 2. It's like that
for Borough.
Yeah,
for Borough, exactly.
That's why you should be in League Two, but yeah.
Easy.
No, listen, I think it's been a thoroughly entertaining Premier League season, to be honest with you. I think there's been a few surprise packages. You know, I mentioned Crystal Palace there since Glasgow came in, the new coach. They've just really turned it on, and I think, you know, if they hold on to the majority of those players in that squad that are made up right now, especially some of the young lads coming through, they could be a force to be reckoned with next season. They've finished 10th, which I think is the highest they've finished for a long time. They seem to be turning the corner. Villa obviously finishing 4th. Great season for them, despite that 5-0 loss on the last game of the season. Just what a story for them. Really burst onto the scene. I guess in the same way that Newcastle did last season as well. You know, took some major scalps, played well against the top 6 teams. Even Chelsea, you've kind of got to hand it to them. The second half of the season,
I don't really want to.
No. I know we don't want to, but you kind of got to give them a little bit of credit for like quietly getting about it and actually starting to play a bit more as a team as well. And like you said, begrudgingly, I've got to say it, begrudgingly, you know, with the injury problems they've had, Newcastle have done extremely well to finish 7th. Yeah. A very tough Champions League group, you know, epitomised by the fact that the two that qualified out of that were in the semi-finals of the Champions League. You know, you don't do that by luck. You do that because they're very good teams. So, all in all, a very good season.
Does Chelsea get Europa now?
Yeah.
Yep. So Chelsea get Europa, and then obviously the next place is dependent on Man City or Man United winning. Like that's how it works, right?
Yes.
And then it
Man
falls
City,
to
Man City win the cup final, Newcastle are in Europe. Yeah.
Why doesn't Man United get it for making the final? Why isn't that a rule? Like, what if Coventry had have made it and then obviously lost to Man City in the final? Why don't they get a chance to play in Europe for just as a reward for making the final? Why does it go to a Premier League?
You've got to win the final. You've got to win the final.
I thought that used to be a rule at one time.
I think if...
But I'm just like, do you know what I mean? If you make imagine if Coventry or Middlesbrough or whatever have this amazing cup run, all right, and then they get to Man City in the final, and Man City, who have already got Europe, right, they win it, right? Shouldn't there be a reward for like Coventry finishing 2nd in the whole of the competition to then get Europe? Do you know what I mean? If you come against Man City who have already got Europe,
if it's Coventry, no.
But do you know what I mean? But I'm just using them as an example. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you've come 2nd in the comp. Do you know what I mean? Like shouldn't there be some sort of reward there that instead of falling back to the Premier League? What if it's a non-Premier League team that gets all the way to the final, gets pipped at the end by a team that's already qualified for Europe?
You're getting rewarded for failure. You're getting rewarded for failure. If you get beat off
you got
Man
2nd.
City, yeah, but if you get beat off Man City in the final, you shouldn't get Europe if you get beaten in the final. If you win the final, that's fair enough. But I think
Big Nigel's just messaged, that's how Millwall played in Europe. Remember when Millwall got the cup final a few years back?
Yeah. That's why they changed the
actually
rule.
did qualify.
Ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
Because Millwall qualified.
Changed the rule because Millwall got there.
Yeah, absolutely. Millwall or Coventry, I would change the rules as well.
Nobody should get rewarded for failure. You shouldn't get, and I think that's why they changed the rule, because it is stupid. Just because that's like getting in by, like we did years ago, and Newcastle got into the Fairs Cup in '69 by default. They got in because of I can't remember, was it like something to do with attendance? And I remember years later, probably in the early noughties, we got into Europe because of the Fair Play League, which was hilarious for us. We got the least yellow cards in a season, and Newcastle got given a Europa League spot. I mean, UEFA.
Awful, isn't it?
It was a UEFA spot. Yeah, I mean, it's stupid, and I think they just did a complete refresh of the rules. But you are right; they did give that opportunity to the teams who, if you got to the final and a team had already qualified for Europe, you did get Europe. But it's crazy.
Okay.
It's crazy. You're getting rewarded for failure.
But then again, I mean, really, in that case, you shouldn't have any places for the Champions League for 2nd, 3rd or 4th.
No, exactly. That's right, but it's a money thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, totally, yeah. Because, I mean, that's the whole idea of why they're changing the Champions League yet again, the format, is to get more teams and ultimately more revenue for UEFA. But, yeah, it kind of cheapens the product. It should be the champions of each country. If you want to do 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and have a UEFA Cup or the Conference League, whatever you want to do, but as far down as 3rd and 4th, qualifying for Champions League, the clue should be in the title, shouldn't it? But there we go. There we go. Coming up after that, we're going to talk about Jurgen Klopp, obviously, because that was even if you don't like Liverpool, and I think you lads know now that I don't, I think I've made that fairly clear. You couldn't help but be caught up in watching that yesterday. It was an intriguing spot that he did on the pitch. So we'll talk about that a little more, but we're going to send Daz up into the helicopter and he's going to tell us what's going on the northeast roads.
Together across the northeast.
The Tune, the Cat and the Red.
There we go, and we're back.
The drummer's just fallen down the stairs.
Yeah. Was that the start of EastEnders?
I'm not your mother!
So we've had a message in this morning on 0330 043 2002, smooth as you like.
Completely messed that line up as well.
Yeah.
That isn't the line. Anyway, yeah, go on.
It's from our Barry. Morning, Barry.
Morning, Barry.
Morning, Brekky stars. Steve, what did you think about Howe's comments about he hopes Bruno stays? Not quite the confidence I was hoping for. I'd rather sell Tonali.
Yeah, I mean he's not gonna be able to say 100% who's staying and who's going, is he? It's not in his control. If somebody comes in and exercises that release clause in the time scale that was given a couple of weeks ago, then Newcastle have got a decision to make. So that's it, really. It's as simple as that. You get honesty from Eddie Howe, and yeah, of course he hopes that he stays, he hopes Isak stays, he hopes Gordon stays, etc., etc. But I think he answered it in the right way, and let's just genuinely hope that Newcastle can keep a hold of those three A-listers, build around them, and you say that you wish Tonali would go. Listen, Tonali will have a good season next season, believe you me. He's had a lot of time to think about what he's done. He's been training, he's been learning English. Tonali will come back and take the Premier League by storm, mark my words, next year.
I was going to say, I don't think any clubs would really take a gamble on Tonali, would they? That's probably a poor choice of words, but
during the break, Ted, I was reading a review. I just thought, we'll keep listening to Alan Wicker, and everybody knows on this channel we love Alan Wicker's advert.
We certainly do.
Somebody actually has written this great review about. He says he wanted to book a family holiday. He said, and he realised that there was 48 million sites to choose from on Google alone. He says that he gave up after the first 10, but then he's gone feeling a little guilty. I made my way home that evening, wondering how to avoid the obvious question. But who would have believed that my unlikely saviour would come in the form of the blazer-wearing, guitar-playing, dry-witted veteran travel presenter Alan Wicker, preaching the good news as the front man in the latest ad for Travelocity. And it's a great review. He just says the campaign has positioned the company as the most inspirational brand in travel at present, and in the latest 30-second execution we see Wicker strumming away comically, displaying all the display skills of Keith, my old Mexican guitar teacher, while telling us thanks to Travelocity's huge selection of hand-picked hotels, I know I'll always find the perfect place for me, somewhere I can chill and do my own thing. It finishes with the strapline, "Hello world." And he just goes, these ads stand out because of their incredible simplicity and excellent execution, with Wicker's unpredictable performance telling me everything I need to know about the brand as a consumer. I'll finish off with the final words. He goes, so as it turns out, I've now got a happy wife and 3 very excited kids. Cheers, Alan.
Wow! I think we'll all echo that. Cheers, Alan.
As much as obviously, yes, we do love Alan Wicker, and I know we shouldn't show favouritism to any adverts, which we don't. Officially,
or even mention them.
Or even mention them. No.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
But what stood out of all of that was Mexican guitar teacher called Keith. I just thought, hang on, so is it Mexican guitar the style, or is he a Mexican called Keith who teaches guitar? Because I need clarification on that, because Keith doesn't strike me as the most Mexican name. So I need clarification on that one. That's going to have me awake all night, I'm afraid. But that's superb. Thank you for that, Steve. That's actually a glorious contribution to the show. I'm not going to lie, I love that. We have round 2 of What the Fact Does. Are you ready with that music?
Yes, of course I am.
As he pants for time.
Well done.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Is this the last one?
What the fuck?
Of the
Well.
season? I hope it's not.
Is it going to be the last one? Maybe we can get some listener views on this one and just. I mean, do you want it back next season?
Yeah.
Do you want What the Fact to return, or do you want me to come up with something a little bit different?
Oh. Get in touch.
I'm
on the
happy to-
WhatsApp.
what do you lads reckon? Steve,
just gonna
you're a
say.
bit hit and miss with this because you like it when you get it in 2 clues.
This is it, yeah. I like it when we're getting 2 clues. I don't like it when I don't get it. Yeah, it's true. Like.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Daz, what do you reckon? Do we keep What the Fact?
I think so, just for the theme. Just for the
Yeah.
theme.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has
You
become
can't hear
literally.
this song now without going I mean, it's honestly
What,
it's killed the song for me. Yeah,
It actually it came on in the pub yesterday. I don't know what was up. Might have been the Man United game or something like that. Anyway, the music was playing in the background, and Charlie the Geordie nudged me and went like, "I just think of What the Fact every time I hear it now." Which is just
I know, right?
that's
I know.
great. That man, I love it. Love
Yeah.
it. So. What the Fact today, if you're absolutely new to the show, What the Fact is, I have a wonderful fact about football. I'm going to give you 4 clues to help you guess what the fact. The first clue was, really lads, playing with yourselves? And then your second clue is, you what? This is live? You what? This is live? Which is probably what people think about the show at times as well. So yes, first clue, really lads, playing with yourselves. Your second clue is, you what? This is live. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
No, that's
Difficult
just
one, this.
yeah. So we were saying before, it's maybe a first team playing a reserve team or something along those lines. But is this?
Yeah.
But is this live?
Yeah, I'm out.
No, I'm.
No.
No, I think you've got us on this one, Ted. For now.
Well, I think it'll make sense once we get the next 2 clues in. I think you need all 4 for this one. It's one of them. It's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle that you'll have to put together.
Right.
There's another idea for
I don't wanna
Friday.
do a jigsaw.
Anyway, more on that.
I'm eating
later.
Weet Bix.
Yeah. Well, you know the cornflakes are really a jigsaw. If you put them all together, it makes a picture of a chicken.
True. I'll be right back.
I hope his missus hasn't got OCD. That's going to be a right mess. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So there you are. There's your
Hey, I need
first 2
cornflakes.
clues.
No milk.
What's that?
Honestly, she must have the patience of a saint.
Was a joke, isn't there, about someone doing the someone doing it? They said, I can't even. What's the joke about them doing a jigsaw off a cornflake box? But the problem is, it's all beak. I can't remember. I think that's the punchline. Anyway, move it on.
Right. Brilliant.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that is radio gold there. I can't remember the joke. Half the headline, half the punchline.
Step aside, Chubby Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than trying to remember a joke live on
Yes.
air when people are going, we spit it out then.
Yeah, we. Yeah.
Anyway, Borough fans.
I'll cut that out.
Borough fans. We're talking. Yeah, we'll cut it out when it goes live. Yeah. Borough fans, should you be concerned about no official Michael Carrick update? Now, I know all signs seem to be pointing towards a positive resolution on this one. However, if the worst came to the worst, and somebody else steals in, offers him a better contract, like you say, there's a few jobs. You've got to look at that Brighton job now and say, right, a young up and coming coach is really going to fancy a go at Brighton with De Zerbi leaving. Who do you get in? Because that's it's a problem that needs addressing sooner rather than later. If it's not Michael Carrick, then who? So I was going to come to Ry on this one first, obviously, with him being the aficionado for Borough. If Carrick doesn't sign, mate, who do you get?
Yeah, well, he's signing. It's going to happen. I've got no fears whatsoever that's happening. It's just that he's on holidays at the moment. He's taken the fam away, and the deal will be done very shortly. So I don't even need to talk about this because it's so done that it doesn't even need to happen. There's no other manager in the world that is good as Michael Carrick. There's no one else that could even come close. Not even Liam Roses and Tulips. Or anything like that. It's Michael Carrick or nothing else, to be honest with you. So, no, honestly, if he was to go, he was to be poached, was to leave for whatever reason, I would be very upset. First and foremost, I think he got a fantastic. I put a tweet out just the other day, actually, and I just said that it was just simple. Obviously, seeing. David Wagner, wasn't it? Getting sacked by Norwich the day after losing the playoff final, right? I just said I love my club, and now having one of the longest serving managers in the EFL. Obviously, Michael Carrick's been there a year and a half now, Daz, and he's now like third or fourth longest serving. Right? Such is the EFL, right? I just said the ability not to panic is severely underappreciated. And I just mean that from all my heart in terms of what my club does. I mean, we just do not panic. We just don't. We don't seem to jump and we had a bit of a rough season at the start there. We had a rough sort of December period. And we didn't panic. And I just think we've got so much belief in him. He's not going anywhere. He will sign a new deal. And if we were to lose him, I would be lost. We really would be lost because I'm not sure who we turn to. I loved that we've gone through this young sort of super rebuild under Michael in the past sort of season or so, where we've sort of trying to grow with this team. And I don't know who else could fit that mold. Does a name spring to you, mate? I don't think there'd be anyone right now that could replace Michael Carrick to make a Borough fan as happy as Michael would.
No,
signing the dotted line.
Yeah, I mean, De Zerbi's not gonna come. I think De Zerbi might go to Man United. I think there's, that's just my feelings on that.
You'd save on the stationery and appoint Michael Beale.
We leave that to your mob, mate.
I think he's going to stay as well. I don't think it's going to be an issue. He wants to stay. There's it has taken a little bit too long. I think it was the Telegraph who reported on Friday that both him and Ayling deals are actually done, and they're just waiting to announce it. When everybody's back in town, really.
Correct. So that's right, Daz. 100%. I'm confirming it right here. CJ Rice Scoops.
Worst comes to worst, David Wagner, I would be interested in. I think he's
great on X Factor.
Now, there's one for the teenagers there. I mean, don't you ever have a go at me. I think Wagner's a great manager. He's done some good work there. I think he's really been treated badly by Norwich, but no, it's Carrick ball all the way for us. He's going to be here. I think that's really interesting, though, Ted. You trying to flip that around on us. Is that just to deflect from the?
Yes, exactly.
We're not going to talk
about what I've done.
Yes, the whole. There's nothing going on at my team, so let's just turn this around here.
That's exactly right. Disgusting by you, Ted.
Pretty much. I'm not going to lie. I thought, well, I may as well upset them, being as like, now's going on at our place. Listen, I mean, on the flip side of that, I honestly do think Carrick will stay there. I think he's the right man for your club. I think he's winning a lot of people over with the style of play, with the way he's galvanised the team as well. We're talking about Newcastle's injuries. Middlesbrough were absolutely decimated by them, during the season. He worked wonders with what he had. Beating the champions Leicester twice in the season. He's a good coach. He's smart as well. I mean, the games that we played, especially the second one at the Riverside.
He's just calm.
Just the way,
He's just so calm.
Yeah, it's little tweaks in the game, just moving the midfield up 5-10 yards, and it's smart stuff. It's simple coaching. It's nothing like, he's not doing anything miraculous or anything like that. It's just smart, savvy coaching, and I think that's what Middlesbrough probably missed for a good while. Somebody just steady like that, like you say, Ry, calm. That's a big thing for me. He's not a shouter in the press conferences. And I believe what you see in the press conferences is what the players are getting as well. You need a cool hand like that. He's been there and done it as a player at the very, very top level. When Alex Ferguson is picking you as one of the first names on that team sheet, then you are a serious footballer. And I think the kind of player he was is now being echoed in the type of coach he's been. He controls the game. He sees everything. I think he'll be at Middlesbrough for a long time.
I agree.
I think he will be the guy that takes you up as well. I honestly do.
I completely agree. You know what I love about it, Ted? Yeah, and once we get to the Premier League, we stay. We finish 6th above Newcastle. It would be, I think, what I love about it is that it kind of stems right from the top. Now, obviously, Steve Gibson, he comes under a little bit of stick, obviously, every now and then for, the investment and or lack thereof and all that. But what he's done for our club is undeniably incredible. But his calmness to be able to give, and he always has, hasn't he, Daz? In his tenure, he's always given a gaffer a right go. Even when we've had absolute shockers, aka Gary Monk, Gordon Strachan, and all this sort of stuff, he's still given them longer than any other club probably would. Look at Norwich sacking David Wagner. I mean, what they achieved this season was pretty decent. And you would, I think in a smarter world, you would go, let's build on that for next season, right? We've fallen one short. We've got pipped by Leeds at the end. Let's see where we've fallen short. We're almost there. Let's build on that. No, they've sacked him. Hull City. Okay, we spent a lot of money on player transfers. We brought in a large squad. We were hoping you get playoffs, Liam. You've just fallen short. Next season, we might have to, arrange the budget a little bit, but we're right there. Let's push on. No, sacked him. You know what I mean? And this story flows through the championship all the way down, and it's always the manager's head. Look at Blackburn. Blackburn are in a world of hurt. Do you know what I mean? And then they sacked John Dow left for Thingo. Birmingham. Birmingham is the case. Birmingham are the study of the lifetime this season. You know what I mean? They were 6th. You were 6th.
Yep.
And they go and you know what I mean? And they're like, nah, catch ya. Do you know what I mean? Wayne Rooney's our man. Do you know what I mean?
So were we, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it just oozes all the way through. So, and for me, the calmness right from the top straight flows down to Carrick. Carrick's our man. We're going to the Premier League. We're going to finish 4th, and Aston Villa will finish 5th. Newcastle 18th.
Yeah. You reckon?
Easy. And Bruno.
You're living in dreamland a little bit with some of that, right? But
Bruno's coming to the Borough.
Oh, wait.
It's nice to have ambition.
Yes, it is.
Here come the men in the white coats.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to put that jacket on back to front for you, mate. I'm actually gonna be a man about it. I am gonna front up about Sunderland as well, because I am a little bit worried about the lack of progress. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the play of the season as well in the Premier League. But first of all, Steve, give us that word, please.
News.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Ry, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
It is the North East Footy Breakfast, and you can get in touch with the show on WhatsApp or 043 2002. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll be back with more North East Footy chat right after this from Huey Lewis and the news. Good morning.
We've had some fun. Yes, we've had our ups and downs. Been down that rocky road, but here we are still around. We thought about someone else, but neither one took the bait. We thought about breaking up. Now we know it's much too late.
So that was Huey Lewis in the news after the news, wasn't it? Technically, not one of his better songs either. I'm not a big fan of that one. That's it was a bit.
Power of love.
Yeah, that was the good stuff. We were just talking about that off air. Did you know that Huey Lewis actually played the music teacher in Back to the Future?
Yeah, that's wild.
There you go. Now you know. Now you know. I had a message from Big Nige while we're on there. Excuse me. We're talking about jigsaws. Not shortly before that. I don't know why, but we were. Big Nige just texted in to say, I did a jigsaw the other day. I was really proud as it said 3 to 4 years on the box, and it only took me a week. Honestly.
Brilliant.
Honestly, just stop messaging me.
Well done.
Just stop messaging
So
me.
good.
You can message it at any time. 0330 or 43 2002. Caroline's been in touch this morning from the
morning,
Red.
Caroline.
Our Caroline.
Yeah, our Caroline. Agree with every word of Ry's Borough prediction. Spot on.
Thank you.
Says
Thank
Caroline.
you.
She's not welcome on our show again.
And our friend Daniil has also been in touch. Good morning, Daniil.
Morning, Daniil.
Yeah, morning, gents. A couple of things here. Saturday's fight, Usyk showed class both in and out of the ring, an example of a true warrior.
Not wrong.
And he's got a what the fact guess.
Oh,
shall I keep that one? Shall I keep that one?
No, get it.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, let's do it
straight away. It's Daniil. He gets
if he gets it, I'll be so annoyed.
Yeah,
well, that's what I mean. Should we wait?
Because I'm going to run now. I'm going to run out of content. If it does, and I'll just have to suffer the consequences.
Well, he said. Well, let me tease this one. Is it something to do with Scotland?
No.
Oh. Well, here's what the fact guess is. Is it Scotland kicking off in a qualifier when their opponents fail to turn up?
That's a good guess. It is a good guess, but no, that's not it. That isn't it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We'll have the third clue actually after we have a little update from around the grounds, which I suppose we could do that now, Daz.
Yeah. Okay.
Magpies
Who's
and
gonna go
proud.
first?
Mags News.
Newcastle United concluded their season on Sunday by beating Brentford in West London to set 3 new goal-scoring records and secure a 7th spot in the Premier League. But a European future will remain unconfirmed until Saturday, when Manchester City take on Manchester United in the FA Cup final. Following Sunday's Premier League season closure at Brentford, the Newcastle squad fled to Australia for 2 money-spinning kickabouts in Melbourne, and the Magpies have taken a 29-man squad, with them leaving Anthony Gordon, Martin Dubravka, Sean Longstaff and Fabian Shaw at home, in addition to the already known injury list. There's no place for Sandro Tonali. He's unable to play in public friendlies, while Harrison Ashby and Garen Kowal appear following the conclusion of their loans at Swansea City and Volendam respectively. And there was a memorable conclusion to the United's under-18 programme on Saturday, for Everton at least. Graham Carrick's side came into the game following successes against Leeds United and Borough, but lost the game 8-0. That's in Newcastle United headlines on Monday the 20th of May.
Smoggies and proud. Borough News.
Good morning, my off-season Borough fans. How's your holidays? How's your pina coladas? Wake up, baby. It's Wake the Neighbours time, because I can't do it without Carrick Ball. Michael Carrick has responded to transfer speculation that is inevitably going to follow some of the Borough players this summer. He said it obviously confirms that we're doing something right, and believes interest, reported or genuine, in his players is evidence that Borough are on the right track, both in terms of coaching and recruitment. Borough lost star forward Chuba Akpom this time 12 months ago, and his replacement Morgan Rogers left for Aston Villa in January in a big money move, despite only signing for the £1 million last summer. Brad Vandenberg, another one last year's arrivals, has been absolutely fantastic. He's already now on the radar of several of Europe's biggest clubs, as well as the inevitable liking to now Emmanuel Latte-Lass after his blistering end to the season. Michael Carrick came out and said, speculation is natural, really, and I certainly take it as a compliment of the work we're doing as a club. You're damn right, Michael. We're the best club in the world. We're going to the Premier League. We're winning it all. That's your Borough updates.
Mackems and proud. Black Cats News.
Good morning, Sunderland fans. Hope you're well. Here are your updates for this Monday morning. Sunderland winger Jewison Bennett has admitted he made a bad decision in heading to Greece on loan. Bennett joined Greek side Aris on loan in January as he looked for first-team minutes, but the spell was a nightmare for the winger as he only featured in the first 2 games he was available for. Bennett is currently in Costa Rica with his former side Herediano as he looks to keep fit ahead of a potential national team call-up. Bo Svensson is one of a number of names linked with the vacant Sunderland head coach role, but if he is to head to Wearside, Christian Speakman will have to fend off interest from Germany. According to German magazine Kicker, Svensson is said to be of interest to Union Berlin, and that discussions have now taken place between Union and Svensson. And finally, former Sunderland striker Kevin Phillips believes Liam Rosenior would be a good fit for the Black Cats as they search for a new head coach. Rosenior was surprisingly sacked by Hull earlier this month after guiding the Tigers to a 7th place finish in the Championship. The 39-year-old previously had an interim spell in charge of Derby, where he worked as a coach alongside Wayne Rooney at Pride Park. That's your Sunderland updates.
Together across the northeast.
The tune, the cat, and the red.
Yes.
I've just done a message saying someone needs to introduce Ry to decaf.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was loud. I know. I got a bit excited there. I do apologise, listeners. You know what? No, I don't apologise for being myself. I love my club. I'm passionate about the club. This segment comes nowhere near. I love this segment, and it's nowhere near my love for Riley McGree.
Okay, well, maybe. Right. The third clue in What the Fact today. So, What the Fact? It's a fantastic fact about football. I'm going to give you 4 clues in order to guess what the fact. The first clue we had was, really lads, playing with yourselves. And then the second clue was, you what? This is live. Your third clue is, I hope you get this one or you'll be gunning for me. I hope you get this one or you'll be gunning for me.
Arsenal.
What about them?
They once, instead of wanting to be called the Gunners, wanted to be called the Funners, but realised they weren't that fun as a club.
I'm not sure that's it.
Do you know how this game works?
I'm
I know it's only been, what, 7 or 8 months? No. Right, let's work through the clues again, okay?
Okay.
The most recent one I gave you, I hope you get this one or you'll be gunning for me.
Yes.
Other clues were, really lads, playing with yourselves. And the other clue was, you what, this is live.
Okay.
Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Nah.
So Arsenal played against their reserves.
Yes. Cook, Daz. Cook.
In a cup competition.
Yes.
Oh, you were headed in the right direction and you just veered off.
Okay.
Well, veer back on, Daz.
Well, that's only when they usually allow their reserve. Or did another team not turn up and Arsenal put out, lent them some of their players? Is that somewhere closer?
No, you're getting further away. You were doing well.
So it's definitely
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you the fourth clue. I'm going to give you the fourth clue.
Go on.
And then it gives you a bit of time to work at it. I love it. Just right at the end of the music as well. Your final clue. Oh, put it on loop. The year Sunderland won the cup.
Oh, right.
Oh.
This isn't a football-related question, then. It is, but it isn't.
Oh, it is?
I've got that sparked me into something.
Well, he's got it.
It's something to do with a film.
Steve's got it.
I can't remember what it was though. I could be completely wrong though. Am I wrong, Ted, or not? Am I going off track?
You're not a million miles away with this. So I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the 4 clues. I'm going to give them in the order I wrote them as well. So, the year Sunderland won the cup. Then the second clue, really lads, playing with yourselves. Then just caught that bit of wonderful singing. The third clue, you what? This is live. And then the fourth clue, I hope you get this one or you'll be gunning for me. So the year Sunderland won the cup, really lads, playing with yourselves. You what? This is live, and I hope you get this one or you'll be gunning for me. There are your 4 clues. Steve's kind of like you. Yeah, between you and Daz, you're not a million miles away.
So is it?
There was a film, lads, wasn't there? But I'm not sure. It's the Sunderland thing that's thrown us a little bit. There was a film years ago that Arsenal were involved in. I can't even remember what the name of the film was. That could be completely miles off. What was this? What was the Sunderland reference?
The year that they won the cup.
Sunderland won the cup.
Have they won the cup more than once?
Yes.
So it's not 73.
Yeah, very good. Well deducted.
Right.
Or deduced.
Okay, so
there you go.
There's a film then, Daz? There's a film. There's a film then. But I can't remember what it was called. And I just remember there was something to do with Arsenal in a football film, but I can't remember anything else.
Well, what other year did Sunderland win a cup?
Well, that's what we need to find out.
1937. We won it in 37 and 73.
Right.
Black and white film then, lads.
So it's 37.
You think less about a movie, but you're kind of along the right lines. It's just not movie based.
That's frustrating.
Is it television based then? Is it a TV program?
I'm not glad you tell me. That's like.
Well, I don't know if you've worked this. I don't know if you've worked this bit out, Ted. We don't. So what we're trying to do is put all the facts together.
That's the idea
with
of
some
trivia.
Clues. Yes.
Hey, look at my
it's like we've just
face
unlearned
mate.
everything we've done in the last 8 months of this game. Is it this? Well, you tell me. That I know the answer.
Lads, I've made a brilliant cornflake face here. This is amazing. This is that.
Honestly,
I thought you'd been quiet.
It's like entertaining a 6-year-old. It's brilliant. It really is. You're incredible. You really are.
So we've established it does involve something televisual. So is it Arsenal's first team playing the reserves or a team of ex players or something like that?
Is it the first time that there was? No, I can't. I was thinking of a televised game, but not in 1930 something or other. No television.
Really?
Isn't there?
I think that looks like Elmo, babe, if I move that around.
Is it supposed to be the first, like one of the first televised games, and Arsenal had to play themselves in it?
That's exactly it.
Wow.
Hey, well done, lads.
That's exactly it. The first televised game of football was Arsenal first team versus the seconds in 1937.
Wow.
Well done, Daz. Well
there
done.
you go. See,
Not
between
just
the
a
two years,
sultry voice.
Yep.
Obviously, Ry was a
helped?
massive help to you there, lads.
What do you mean?
By staying out the way. What you can
I
do
said
next
Arsenal.
time, colour in. You said
I
Arsenal.
said Gunners. You know what I mean? As soon as you said Gunners, I said Arsenal, and then lads are like, Arsenal. And I set them off, and then I just go back to my cornflakes. See?
Honestly.
I'm like the super sub.
Oh, hang on. Someone, Anthony Lewins has just been in touch. Morning, Anthony. And we would have to check on VAR on this one, but he said Arsenal v Arsenal reserve, the first game televised, actually filmed, and they lost 1937. Now, did he start typing that after we said it? I don't know. We'd have to take a VAR check on that one.
Nah, he gets you get it, mate. You get the Daz's
Check the old SMTP server on that one,
Yes,
Daz.
yeah.
No, very good if you got that one. That wasn't an easy one. There will be no more what the fact this season.
Oh, no.
I know. Steve's absolutely just gone into shock there. He's going to be devastated about that because
right,
Friday's show, which is the last one of the season, I'm kind of going old school on us. There's going to be lots of games. There's going to be some decent holiday music. Plenty to look forward to on Friday's show, and for the rest of the week from the rest of the lads as well, of course. But we are crashing on. We are late. We need to find out what's happened with the traffic. So let's send Daz up into the copter or the chopper. Make your mind up, Ted. Right. Daz, get in the chopper.
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Ry. The North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the northeast, the red, the tune and the cat.
So honestly, I thought we'd been replaced by Fatboy Slim, crossfades going on and all sorts there.
Oh, so good.
Daz giving it wickety, wickety, wickety. But anyway,
He's very clever.
let's talk player of the season, lads. Phil Foden was unveiled as the player of the
Yes,
season.
latte
Officially.
latte.
Yeah, no. We're talking Premier League.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
talking Premier League.
Oh, sorry.
Foden, for me, I think a very worthy winner. He's had an outstanding season. And like I mentioned before, at 23, this kid's getting better and better as well. I think he's certainly the player to lead England into the next couple of tournaments. Whoever is leading the team in terms of management by then, goodness only knows. But what a squad they're going to inherit with the likes of him. And Cole Palmer, I believe, got Young Player of the Year as well. And again, absolute tremendous talent. Apart from the game that he had at the Riverside, where he couldn't hit a barn door. But other than that, been stupendously good. What I was going to ask, lads, is there anybody else in the Premier League who's really surprised you this season? For instance, my one, the surprise package, was Solanke at Bournemouth, who I thought's had an outstanding season.
Good shout.
Somebody who, again, seems to be, getting confident and starting to improve with his performances. Very consistent now as well. I'll come to you first, Steve. Is anybody, Newcastle players aside, that you've looked at and thought, wow, what a season, and somebody who you wouldn't mind having in your own squad?
Uly's at Palace, Eze at Palace. I think they've got two diamonds there. They've had a wonderful back end of the season. I mean, Roy Hodgson left, and they just found something about themselves. You know what I mean? They've played really well. I think obviously Newcastle, we know Anthony Gordon's had an amazing season. I think for Manchester United, Højlund has probably stepped up. It's been a season of discontent at Old Trafford, but Højlund's probably stepped up for them. There's that young guy, Chris Wood at Forest, who of course scored a hat-trick against Newcastle. Scored 2 goals again against Burnley yesterday. I was hoping he was going to get a hat-trick yesterday, because honestly I love rubbing people's faces in it on NUFC matters about Chris Wood, especially Supermac. Supermac can't stand Chris Wood, I like him. I think Bobby Clark has done well at Liverpool as well. He made his Premier League debut.
Not wrong.
He's won a trophy, lads, which is more than his dad did in Premier League at Newcastle. So
do you reckon he'll rub that in his dad's face a bit?
His dad's been wearing the medal around the house. I think it's hilarious. Bobby came back, stuck it around his neck, and basically just said, "There you are, Dad. You can try it on for size, see what it's like." But I think that was. I think that's brilliant. It is. But yeah, I mean, look, it's been a really good season. The Premier League has been exciting. It hasn't been a 1-horse race. It was the 3-horse race really for the majority of the time. Liverpool just dipping out towards the end. 4-horse race really with Tottenham in the mix at one point. And yeah, there's been some fantastic performances and some names to keep an eye on. Special shout out, I guess, as well to João Pedro, who Newcastle were monitoring for such a long time at Watford, and he's done fantastically well at Fulham.
Agreed.
But, some great players, and like it or lump it, Haaland's still a young player, lads, and what a season he's had again. Top of the tree, goal scorer. He's got the golden boot again this season. So yeah, been a lot of great performances, some great young players, and it's still the most exciting league in the world, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're right to point out Bobby Clark had a great season. They've kind of got a bit of an embarrassment of riches, because you look at the midfielders coming through at Liverpool. Lewis Koumas is still a young lad. He's starting looking decent. James McConnell, obviously once of Sunderland, he's started playing regularly as well. Another great player. The future is actually looking quite bright for them. I think obviously they're going to lose Van Dijk sooner rather than late, and Salah is almost certainly destined to go. But Yeah, some impressive young performances there. We've got a message here. Antoine Semedo of Bournemouth, another one who's had a great season.
Good shout.
And when you bear in mind, he was actually on loan at Sunderland in League One, and Big Nye just put here, I had more chance of making it as a Premier League footballer at that stage. He was awful for us. But the development path that Semedo's been on, honestly, he's been tremendous. So, yeah, I think there's been some standouts. Ry, any for you that you've picked out?
In the Premier League, I honestly thought Ross Barkley's return to Luton Town. He honestly kept Luton Town in it most seasons. This he was a free transfer, but he's obviously an older bloke, not a young player. But I just thought Ross Barkley's return to the Premier League was just undeniably incredible. I was really impressed by him this season and what he could do. And they got him on a free. I mean, how can you argue with that? I thought, who else was it? I thought. Obviously, Haaland is incredible. Haaland's such incredible striker, and even though you kind of expect it, you forget how young he is. And how impressive he is at his age. Do you know what I mean? So Mainu as well at Man United, the young centre defensive mid. He came onto the scene. He's obviously jumped at his England chance at such a young age as well. And Ollie Watkins at Villa. Ollie Watkins with 19 goals. Do you know what I mean? He finished fourth in the Golden Boot, and Villa finishing fourth. Villa have been incredible, haven't they? You know what I mean? Morgan Rogers going there from Borough, he was fantastic to watch. But yeah, seeing Ollie Watkins bang in 19 goals, I think Ollie Watkins has got the world at his feet now. Do you know what I mean? He really can go into Europe if he wants to, but I think he'll stay there. And obviously Champions League football at Aston Villa, a story like that, because gone are the days you would think that of a Leicester or a Blackburn Rovers or anything like that coming and winning the Premier League again, while Man City and all that are the way they are. So to see a story like Villa now cracking the Champions League, I love that. Do you know what I mean? Because I loved when Leicester won it or Blackburn won it, or those one-off winners, because that's what you want to see. It's like when Lando Norris wins a race in the Formula One, because it's not Max Verstappen for once. Do you know what I mean? So, so seeing Villa sort of make that as well, and then I think. There's a big shout there down to Wolves as well. Hwang Hee-chan. I had to Google his name just to think, but I don't know if you ever saw him, but he's had a fantastic season. He scored 12 goals in his inaugural season. After Wolves went through so many changes in the off-season, obviously Gary O'Neill there now. But yeah, Hwang Hee-chan, who's a South Korean forward, he's honestly a very, very good striker. He's like 6'2", 6'3". He's a big boy. But he's for a South Korean to, not many South Koreans come over and crack it in the Premier League, and he's done very, very well. He's a big lad, and he was replacing the Mexican who went to Fulham, so he's done very well. So yeah, shout out. There's little stories like that all over the place that I'm really impressed by. But if I had to pick it one, it's Ross Barkley, because it's a free at his age, coming back to the Premier League. Obviously Luton, I mean, it would have been better if Luton had stayed up. They didn't ultimately, but I still think what he achieved this season with Luton, if you have a look at all the stats, he's right behind all of them.
It's an interesting one as well, because it's one of those where Ross Barkley at Everton looked an absolutely star player, and it was one of them, Steve, where it was a move to Chelsea that sort of really put the blockers on his career for a while, wasn't it? It was kind of the same way that it did with Sean Wright-Phillips when he went to City. There's a few of these players that just make the wrong moves, but undoubted talent, Ross Barkley, and as Ry says, like, nice to see somebody like that actually make a bit of comeback, isn't it?
Yeah, he had a good season this season. I mean, he's been linked with Newcastle, and it's crazy. He's not the fit for Newcastle, but going to a team like Luton, it's worked out great for him. But as you say, this happens with players, constantly season after season. You go to a club, you find the right fit. I mean, Josh Luke came to Newcastle, didn't really fit under Benitez's style of play, and ends up with Real Madrid scoring 2 goals in the semi-final of the Champions League. Could get the winner in the final. You just never know. John Dahl Thomason, another one at Newcastle, who came in and didn't do well at Newcastle, but then ended up going to win the Champions League. So never, you never say never with players. It's just wrong place, wrong time sometimes for players. That's it. It's as simple as that, really. And sometimes players go to a club who, probably the biggest high profile one in recent years is Mo Salah. Went to Chelsea, couldn't hit a barn door. Goes to Liverpool, he's won everything. He's won everything.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
these things happen, lads, in football, unfortunately for players, and some players never recover from it. Other players go on and they have a great career.
I'm just looking there because you mentioned Haaland before, another great season for him, but the people in the press were starting to go, oh, he's not the same this or second season nerves. He's had 44 appearances and 38 goals in all competitions, which is just...
Well done, Roy Keane.
He's still got an FA Cup final to go yet. Yeah, it's
League One
as much
striker.
as I love Roy Keane, he was barking up the wrong tree there. Like, is that... He's phenomenal. I mean, do you lads think he can keep this going? Is this a regular thing for him, or is he just like a defender's just not found a way to beat him yet? Is he stoppable? Because that's a hell of a goal scoring record so far, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is. It's actually incredible.
Yeah. He's one of those players who will always score goals. He's such a unit, and as long as he's playing in a team like Manchester City with a manager like Pep Guardiola, I'm afraid everyone will always be in his wake. The only thing that will stop Haaland, which it did this season, is injury. I've got no doubt had he played the games this season that he did last season, he would have scored 40 goals again. He could beat Shearer's record if he stays in the Premier League. Probably in the next five seasons. You could actually do it in that kind of time scale, because Manchester City are just brilliant. But a lot depends on what happens with Pep and what happens with with the players around him. But and whether he stays, do you think he's going to stay that long? I don't think he will. I think there'll be a Real Madrid will come in and they'll want to take him on. They'll want to take him away.
For now though, it's 63 league goals in 2 seasons.
Crazy.
I mean, in modern football times, that is impressive by anybody's standard. Like,
impressive,
you'd expect to see that in La Liga, for a Messi or something like that. But Premier League, where defenders are notoriously that much more difficult, that's an absolute tremendous goal scoring record. That, like, isn't it? He's an absolute star. It's amazing that he's getting eclipsed by the likes of Foden. Even with the sort of season he's had, but I like to say Foden, I think a very, very worthy winner of Player of the Season. Looking forward to seeing what he does with the England squad in the European Championships as well. We are crashing on towards the end of the show here, lads, but we've still got a little bit to come up though. We are going to talk. I know. We're going to talk Klopp because we have to, and we are going to talk a little bit of should Sunderland fans be worried as well about the lack of progress? But in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Daz, get to the chopper.
Together across the northeast.
The tune, the cat, and the red.
Just like to apologise to the people of Austria for that absolutely horrendous attempt at an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, sorry about that.
I think I sounded more like the old R&B act Shaggy than I did Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yes, I do apologise. Maybe that's something I can work on over the summer as me impressions. But there you go. I've basically failed on every single accent I've attempted so far. So yeah, work to be done there. Like I said, fast tracking towards the end of the show now. Sunderland fans, should we be worried about the lack of progress in appointing a manager? I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about this, lads, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, because as soon as Will Still was kind of available on the market, he left the job in France, and you kind of think, it's only a matter of time then.
It's done.
In fact, there was even some rumours saying, last game of the season he might even be at the stadium, or they'll kind of they'll announce it pretty soon. Yeah. And then the longer it's going on, the more I'm starting to just feel a little bit unsettled by this. Now, it could be the case that, yes, I know they have to get this appointment right, because the last one was an utter disaster. Not only was it not a disaster, but the fact that they actually got rid of Mowbray in the first place was an even bigger disaster, in my opinion. So yeah, it has to be the right person that comes in, because I think Speakman's job could be in serious trouble if he doesn't get this one right. He would have to go. It's his job to recruit managers. That's part of his remit, and so far he's failed. And if a manager gets sacked, as Brian Clough used to always say, the man who hired him should also go as well. Now, at this moment in time, it looks, to all intents and purposes, like Liam Rosenior is very much on the radar of the club. And if that's the case, then, in my opinion, I think that's a great thing. Whether we'd be able to get David Wagner in, I don't know. I think that the model of the club would have to be slightly different to what we've had. Yes, I know they're going to still concentrate and go down the youth path, but there would have to be money to spend on some significantly older members of the squad to bring in as well. Bearing in mind, the older members that we had have now gone. Corey Evans has obviously left the club. Bradley Dack, I don't know whether he was ever at the club or not. There's just a walking hairpiece that was on the treatment table a few times. But I'm not a fan.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it's a second division side in Turkey where he can get his hair, coloured in, or whatever you do over in Turkey to get it fixed. Maybe some new, they might even throw in some new teeth. You don't know. But yeah, listen, I am a little bit worried. If it is the case that we do get Liam Rosenior, fantastic. But right now, I'm nervous, lads. Ry, will come to you first on this one. My championship bro. Should we be worried about this?
100%. You're doomed. I don't know what's going to happen now. You got no hope whatsoever. No, honestly, it surprised me how long it's taking. I honestly thought it was be a case of season's over, right? We've got the chance now. And when Will Still left, started. Oh God, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. But it was just evident, wasn't it? It was there. The writing was on the wall. That's it. He's been linked with Sunderland so heavily throughout the whole year. He's got that that French speaking background where you've got a very strong French contingent at Sunderland. You even had Jermaine Defoe coming out and saying, if I get the job, then Jack Clark's going to stay, and it's starting to heat up, and then it just goes and just dies off, and nobody's really doing it. And I'm not sure. I mean, obviously all the players are on holiday. You see all the players now like in Dubai and taking breaks and stuff like that, and I get that. Maybe there's no one there at the club to sort of officiate, but Sunderland need to get to work earlier than any other club because of the failure that they've had. And as a Sunderland fan, if I was a Sunderland fan, I'd be expecting after the failure we've had that we get back early and we start to fix before anyone else comes back. Does that make sense? And I'd be wanting to come back early, get in there, and get our next season on track. It's what you get paid to do. You know what I mean? And it's what it's about for us. Get in there, get a manager, and get it sorted. There's no time for holidays when there's been no success. Do you know what I mean? So I get the players need a break, but the staff don't. Do you know what I mean? The staff are paid, 365 days of the year to get the decisions right, and the decisions haven't been right. And I think for Sunderland's sake, they need to start getting some names through the door. Or, even Jimmy Coppers and that, regular friend of the show. They got nothing at the moment, and it's just it's bad.
Yeah, the thing for me as well is what's badly needed is a manager and a centre forwards. And Steve will come to you next on this one. It's a necessity. It's a problem we've had for months. Are you surprised that it's actually taken this long?
Yeah, I've spoken to a few Sunderland fans who I know around the doors, and they've said, look, I'd rather take my time appointing the right person rather than do what we did with Beale, and get somebody in who's completely inadequate for a club of Sunderland size. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's taken as long. Obviously the question marks remain over the ownership. Are they staying? Are they going? There was rumours that there potentially could be another sale of the club at some point, but you get the impression that the owners are going to stay. They're just taking their time and getting the right person. So, they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to go through the situation that they went through last time. I think there's an acceptance now that they got rid of Mowbray too soon, and they just want to make sure they get the right person. And waiting for the playoffs to finish was the right thing to do as well. They may have their eyes on Wagner. They may have their eyes on Still, who seems to have been a name that just won't go away. But they'll have drawn up a shortlist, one would have imagined now, and they're probably going about things in a different manner. Because I think the thing that stands out about Sunderland's season is they've made a few faux pas this season off the pitch. And whether it's the whole Newcastle United scenario in the FA Cup, whether it's the managerial appointment of Still of Beale, sorry, I think there was a lot of stuff leaking out of the club on more than one occasion. We saw fan representatives bleaking news from the club before the club did. So I think the fact that this is all seemed to be kept in house and fans are in the dark, I don't think it's a bad thing. It shows that they've probably got the house in order. But I think we all await this with interest over the course of the next couple of weeks to see who Sunderland's new manager will be. But there's plenty of opportunities and plenty of choices out there. You know, and the managerial merry-go-round started in earnest. So
strong.
We will watch with interest, lads.
Daz, just quickly from you, mate. The lads are right. It's a decision they have to get right. If they don't get this one right, do you think that the owners will kind of go, yeah, listen, we're not very good at this? You know, it's going to be, what if we had 20 managers in 10 seasons? Or 20 different head coaches in 10 seasons. So we're literally going through 2 a season. They've kind of... Can they stay in good conscience? Can they actually stay if they don't get this right? Or do you think that'll be it and just sell up and give it up as a bad job?
I don't know. I don't know if they've got... I don't know if they've got the humility to do that, if I'm honest with you, Ted, after what we've seen this season. I would love to think that they would come out and go, do you know what, we got this wrong, we maybe we need to look for another challenge. I'd love to think that they would come out and do that. I am genuinely worried, Ted, that something hasn't happened already, and I've got to question why. You know, it's got to be something to do with. And again, I think somebody mentioned this on the Three Legends on Friday night with Darren Williams. You know, is this about the club being too picky here, or having too high expectations? Now, you know, if
rather nervous,
yeah, you know, if you've got to argue that obviously they want this appointment to be right, absolutely. You know, everybody wants that. You know, well, every Sunderland fan wants that. You know, for this appointment to be right.
You're hoping it's tragically wrong.
After what we've seen this season, come on, more of it. No, So you know, the Sunderland fans need this to be right. I think the behind the scenes team, they'll know they need this to be right. So there'll be a lot of pressure on them, and maybe it has been that. You know, they're saying, right, well, no, you don't fit in with our plans. You know, we'll still... They must have had a chat with him by now. You know, he's been a free agent for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it's been. So they must have had a conversation with him. And I'm sure that they've... You know, how many other ex-Sunderland players have been out in the news recently and said, oh, yeah, I'd love to have a go at the Sunderland job. Surely they've had a word with them as well. You know, Jermaine Defoe is another one that comes to mind. Who else was last week in the press? So, no, I'm genuinely concerned that a decision hasn't been made. You know, maybe if this one doesn't work out, maybe they will hold their hands up and go, do you know what? Maybe the problem is us. I just suspect not, though, Ted.
It's not you, it's us.
Yeah. I don't think they've got that level of humility in them from what I see as an outsider.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting time. Just like I say, it's something that they've got to get right. I think there's a little bit of nerves playing into this. I think they realise that this is a very, very big decision at a key time for the club.
Who's making the decision on the players, Ted? Do you know what I mean? Without a gaffer there, do you know what I mean? Like Corey Evans, like saying, right. Yeah, but like that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? He's making decisions now about contracts not to be renewed and youngsters to be let go and all that sort of stuff without a gaffer in place that is arguably going to be made a head coach, like all the clubs are doing this season, where they're being given the players. Do you know what I mean? So they're already making decisions for the next manager that's not even there. Do you know what I mean? And that's the wildest thing. I mean, we saw your retained list just the other day, and obviously Corey Evans, you know, God bless him, is leaving. You know, Bradley Dack wasn't going to be offered and all that sort of stuff. And look, they are smart decisions. You'd think that, you know, they're pretty straightforward, but there's still decisions being made around the footballing side of things without really the person in there that's going to have to be given the footballing side things to deal with. It's just that's what baffles me the most.
One of the young players released, Michael Spellman, should never have been released from the club.
Well, he
was an integral part of the pre-season. Mowbray played him a lot of games. He played very, very well in the Gateshead pre-season game, which is when I first started doing bits on Daz's show. Yeah. Spellman should never have been let go. Absolutely not. We'll regret that. And you're starting to see these young lads start to crop up. Greenwood at Leeds, obviously he's been on loan at you lads for this season, right? Mm-hmm. There's too many of them that are being not mistreated, but they're not being looked after properly, certainly. And we're letting the wrong characters go. Absolutely. Yep. I can understand with the senior players, yes, Corey Evans, fantastic leader, sets a great example, but at the end of the day, his injury record is just too severe for us to take a risk on another season for him. He'll do very well for a League One club or a League Two club, and maybe get another year or two out of him as a bit part player on there, but yeah, listen, it's scary, some of the decisions being taken, like you say, without a head man in charge.
What about Chris Rigg in the next month? I mean, in the next couple of weeks, it's rumoured by Fabrizio Romano, the ever elusive Twitter bloke, that Chris Rigg's going to have offers from Man United and all these other clubs. Do you know what I mean? And he's got to sit there, and then he's got if there's no manager in place, you've got Speakman trying to sell the sale of him staying at Sunderland and why he should stay. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's no...
I wouldn't trust Speakman to sell something on eBay for me, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. There's no gumption there to Chris Rigg saying, well, my future's at Sunderland, I want to stay, this is where I want, when there's no gaffer in place. If there was a gaffer like Will Steele or something, at least Will can get in his ear and go, look, buy into this, I'm going to give you a first time. He's got no idea what Sunderland's going to look like next season. And then he's got a massive offer on the table from Man United or Newcastle or whatever it may be. And they've got a gaffer that's going to get in his ear. Do you know what I mean? And that's the scary thing for me as well, is that you've got some star players there like Jack Clark and all that who are weighing up their future, and there's no one in there telling them why they should stay other than Speakman. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, absolutely right, and that's hence the urgency and why I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about it now. But I am also concerned that I'm going to start eating into Daz's show.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's absolutely fine.
Neat little segue. I just thought it was an ideal opportunity to be smooth.
He's got the whole summer to himself, man.
I know.
It's true enough. Like
he does.
I might just gate crash now and again just to make sure you're all right.
Oh, yeah.
We'll come on.
You're all welcome. Yeah. You're all absolutely welcome.
Yeah. What you got coming up, mate?
Thank you. We've got all the usual stuff. We'll have a look at the newspaper front pages. We'll have a look at what's gone on over the weekend. We'll look at your showbiz. We'll look at the TV, what's on TV, and of course the quiz that's sweeping the nation, as well as a category this morning. So it's a full show for the next 2 hours. So keep it here on the Cat, the Tune, and the Red. And thank you, guys.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Thank you.
See you later, lads.
Have a good one.
Ta-da.
Song.
What's
Days of Thunder.
Not quite, no.
No? Damn it.
Spencer Davis Group, and give me some loving on the Cat, the Tune, and the Red. How about this for a tune?